Hi, this is Alex again, and welcome back to the next part of the grant application tutorial. Next, we will discuss Annex C, the grant budget form. In the grant budget form, your organization is asked to provide detailed information about the budget for your proposed activity. This information is very important for Severe to assess the reasonableness of your request for funds. Now we will discuss each tab of the budget form, which is an Excel spreadsheet with 3 tabs. The first tab of the budget form is the budgeting instructions. Please read these instructions carefully as they will help you complete tabs 2 and 3. Additionally, if any of the instructions are unclear, please email grants@severesupport.net and we will address any specific questions you have. The second tab of the budget form is the main detailed budget. We will now discuss each section of this tab. Please note that all costs should be presented in your local currency. First, you are asked to list the name of your organization and the title of the proposed grant activity. The second section is salaries. Here, please include the name and position title of all long-term and short-term staff who will work on the proposed activity. Under units, please include how many months they'll be working on the activity, and under rate, please include their monthly rate. For short-term staff, please use the number of days they'll be working on the activity and use their daily rate. The third section is benefits. Please include any benefits associated with each position included under salaries. For example, if you would like Severe to pay for healthcare costs associated with a long-term researcher who will be working on activity for 9 months, please include the months under units and the monthly rate of healthcare under rate. The fourth section is other direct costs. Please include any costs associated with your organization that are not specific to the activity. For example, if you'd like Severe to pay for a portion of your rent or utilities during the time period of the grant, please include that in this section. Indirect costs may be included if your organization has an established, negotiated indirect cost rate agreement. The fifth section is activity costs. Please include here any costs specific to your proposed activity, which are not travel and transportation or equipment. These costs will be included in the next 2 sections. One way to do this is to list out expenses by each task listed in your implementation plan, Annex D, and include the costs associated with each task. For example, if one of your tasks is to conduct 20 surveys in Z province, the costs noted here could be the cost of printing the surveys and buying clipboards for the surveyors. If you have not completed your implementation plan, please come back to this section after your implementation plan is complete to make sure you have captured all of the costs. The sixth section is travel and transportation. Please include all costs associated with travel here in as much detail as possible. Please separate out travel costs by per diem, that is to say meals and incidental expenses, lodging, and transportation, including air, train, bus, taxi, etc. Please list out every anticipated trip. Please also include your organization's per diem policy, either in your budget notes or as an attachment. Additionally, please budget for one person to travel to Bangkok, Thailand for 2 days for a kick-off workshop in month 1 of the grant and a closeout workshop in month 9 of the grant. The 7th section is equipment. Please include the costs of any equipment, including both hardware and software your organization will need specifically to complete the proposed activity. For example, if you need 2 desktop computers to complete your activity, you should write out the specifications for the computer and then under unit put 2 and under rate put $400 if that's how much a unit you want costs. One of the most important sections of the budget form is the budgetary notes. Please make the budget notes as detailed as possible, and there is no limitation on how much space you can use to explain each section of your budget. Every cost included in your budget must be justified in your budget notes. One thing to note are the columns for applicant contribution and severe contribution. If your organization is planning to contribute to the grants in some way through covering, for example, labor costs, please separate the applicant portion and the severe portion in these columns. Applicant contribution is not required, but is a way for applicant to demonstrate that they are committed to the grant's activity. The third tab of the budget form is the budget summary by deliverable. This tab should be completed after you've completed your implementation plan, which is Annex D. Because Severe expects to transfer funds to grantees upon completion of deliverables, this tab is a way for both your organization and Severe to get an idea of what the cost of each deliverable will be. In the Budget Summary by Deliverable tab, you will take all of the costs listed in tab 2 and separate them out by the deliverables listed in your implementation plan. Please feel free to include extra columns to reflect however many tasks are in your implementation plan. For costs which are not specific to a deliverable, for example, a salary of a full-time researcher, this can be spread equally throughout the deliverables. If you have included any applicant contribution, please also complete the second chart, which separates costs across deliverables between Severe and the applicant. Please be certain that the totals in both charts in tab 3 equal the total budget from tab 2. As always, if you have any further questions that have not been answered by this session or in other parts of the tutorial, please send us an email to grants@severesupport.net and we will get back to you as soon as we can.